When you were a child, what did you dream of doing as a grown-up?
I wanted to run a business. I absolutely wanted to run a business. I'm Colleen Brown, and I'm the former CEO of Fisher Communications. And more recently, I ran Spring Spark Networks in Berlin.
So Colleen and I were CEOs at the same time. She was the CEO of Fisher Communications. I was the CEO of Cascade Bank. We served together on the board of the Washington Roundtable, and that was a little over 10 years ago. What I've observed about Colleen is that she is a person with an incredibly generous nature, and she's always willing to share the spotlight on others, not taking it for herself. Colleen is very smart. She is very strategic, and she has the ability to see around corners. And I think that has been part of the key to her success. And she works really hard. She is extremely highly capable, and that has allowed her to accomplish all these wonderful things in her career.
What was a discouraging moment or obstacle in your career path, and how did you overcome this?
My name was in the Wall Street Journal as a contender to run a public company that I was working for. And surprised me, I was super busy, I had young kids. And the next day I got a call from the big boss, the CEO of our company, who said, just so you know, it's never going to be a broadcaster who runs this company, and it's certainly not going to be a woman. I was shocked. This is different days today, but back then, I guess he got away with that. You just can't let the naysayers or the obstacles define who you are. You really have to stay true to what you're trying to do. You know, I believe that I had to work harder than everybody else because I was an oddball in the room. I was a woman, and there were very few. So I learned to be resilient, not take things too personally.
I think Colleen has played a special role in helping to advance the role of women in quite male-dominated industries. And so to see someone be as successful as she has been, I think is very inspiring to women in so many different ways. And so for us to be able to be successful in those industries, I think hopefully will help others to realize how they can overcome different adversity and be successful as well.
There were only 3 women in my MBA class at the University of Colorado. That was also interesting, but I realized grades are grades, and you know, I was getting my grades above all the men in the class. That just showed that I was working harder or equal to the task, and then getting a job out of school. And I had choices. I had 3 offers, and I went with the one that spoke to me, and it was in the television industry. Then from television, I realized in front of the camera was not my forte. So I began exercising my accounting and financial acumen, and interestingly enough, writing code, because I was right at that juncture where everything was going from manual to digital, and I knew how to write code. So I started writing code to transfer everything that I was doing manually over to everything that would become digital. I was able to take advantage of having my own software that worked for me, that made the job fun and challenging because I got to write exactly what I wanted. And ultimately, they took notice and promoted me, and one thing led to another. So I guess in summary, how I got to where I am is being curious, relentlessly curious, asking questions, being open to change, and being willing to step out into the unknown.
What advice do you have for today's young people?
You know, I used to say, do what you love, but I've realized there's a lot you have to do in life that you don't love, but hopefully you balance out enough of what you love when you're working and pursuing your life's goals, that yeah, you'll have to do some stuff you don't want. That's the hard part, but the reality is it makes it so much more valuable when you achieve something. So do what you love, understand there's gonna be stuff you have to do that isn't your favorite, but follow what your dream is.
What does it mean to you to receive the JA Hall of Fame Laureate Award?
It feels like life comes full circle. I remember starting my baton twirling camp, where I made a lot of money for really, truly just babysitting, but it was still a lot of fun. And I realized then I wanted to run a business, and then later on got involved with Junior Achievement. I really was impressed with Junior Achievement. It means a lot to me because it's about coming full circle and really validating my interest in being in business, running a business.